And I'd like to conclude with a little piece of my personal history of living on both sides of the border, right here in San Antonio, Texas, where the languages and the cultures and the neighborhoods and the laws overlap. Both sides of the border. This is a poem that is written on two sides of the paper, and with an uneven central border running between it, kind of like our uneven river between Texas and Mexico. But in order for an audience to hear that division between the left side and the right side of the paper, I invite people to raise your left hand when I do for this side of the page, and raise your right hand for this side of the page. And that way you'll get a sense of which side of the border we're jumping back and forth over. Both sides of the border. That deep, delicious desire to run on two tracks at the same time, to jump back and forth, to let one foot fall inside each track like a little girl straddle, skipping two sides of a curb, to read the subtitles in Spanish and hear the English words simultaneously, to write one story in the legal lines of the legal pad, and then to escape and scribble illegal notes up the margin on a whole different page or poem or poema. I was born bilingual, a lullaby between the text and the Mex. My first nickname and admonition to a tío primo hermano de mi papá as he painted the walls of my house, perched high on a ladder. Man, guys, I shouted, a name I'd call him forever after, and he me, our bond, our new language, never as correct as expected, never te vas a caer, hombre, or even you're gonna fall, man. But even then, I loved the octopus arms of my mother language text, Mex. Even then, I could not stay within the required lines, not jump the border, not quite step on a crack, break your mother's back, not live on both sides of the border. To be de este lado y de ese lado. To skip, straddle the curb, one foot falling on this side, one foot falling on the other, but more fun when I rode the curb, balancing above the world of territories owned. Laughing in my freedom from either and both, we were free from Mexico, not even bound by their laws, but to prove we were not conquered property of the U.S., we sassily insisted on still saying La Capital, not for Washington, D.C., but for Mexico City. My tongue runs to jump the language boundaries, sampling like a gleefully wild child of the goodies spread out on both tables, all stuffed into the mouth at once by fingers, no forks, no limits, no portions, all impulse. You can run, you can get away. The viejita watching the desserts can't catch you. You are sin vergüenza, high and high-powered, wound up with the freeness, sin zapatos, without limits. I write 2 novels at the same time. I take 2 languages, savor them with no restrictions, no one measuring portions. I stuff myself with tasty words of opposing origins. I laugh, am unbroken, the donkey who still rears up on hind legs to jump over the log instead of lifting one leg at a time, ladylike, to be gentle for passengers. No, forget your hats, hang on to your seats. The ride is wild. It's not guaranteed. It's not even defined. You don't know which of the 2 dictionaries to use. Like life and death, it gets all tangled together. Maybe you're hearing me talk, maybe you're hearing yourself. Maybe I answered a question, maybe I gave 2 different answers. Like, which religion am I? Well, kind of Catholic, pero sin papeles. Since I was born and baptized, a barrio Protestant. Well, okay, you say, let's write down Christian. That ought to define it. Well, no, I say, like what I am mainly is Native American, Guadalupana? You frown at, begin to study the picture on my wall of the Virgin of Guadalupe, alias Indian Tonantzin, mixed with Sephardic Jew. You check for papers. No, I explain, all unofficial, of course. I'm a mojada, I don't got papers. But I do got citizenship, 2 of them, like I got ownership without the deeds. These places are mine, these spaces are mine, these borders are mine, both sides of the river. It's not that I don't belong, it's just that I belong twice, don't we all? It is time. It is more than twice past the time. I want an altar, no 2. I take the 2 wooden boxes, once drawers and a work table in my garage, hit by a tornado, garage torn down, then rebuilt. The table isn't there anymore, that's okay. Everything has at least 2 lives, doesn't it? I can hang them by their handles. One will be an altar to Lupe, the pregnant virgin. Well, most things are medically possible, aren't they? The Catholic Holy Mother with unborn mestizo baby, moon, sun, gold stars in cloak, red dress, black belt of pregnancy, identical to Aztec goddess Tonantzin. A Spanish plot to convert Indians to Catholicism. No, an Indian plot to convert Catholicism to Indians. Subversively, they called her Queen of the Americas, her only crown, the Indian sun, simultaneous with a footstool moon, her hands folded humbly, no one's fooled. I'll keep her big, bright Mexican colors, green and red, with gold stars, but maybe I'll add something, like blue jeans, dreamcatcher earrings, green card, maybe not. We pray to her. She prays to someone else, maybe to us. Please, Virgencita, please, non-Virgencitos, protect us, we say. Attack, she says, charge ahead for yourselves. So the other box, drawer, altar, will be a Dia de los Muertos. I'll call it All My Children, like the soap opera, with the ad from the soap opera pasted behind it and pictures of all my kids, even the ones who weren't born. Children, the very sprouting of life, but in the middle of Dia de los Muertos, the very sprouting of death. And like in every Day of Dead altar, everyone in it will be a muertito, a little laughing skeleton. So there will be my kids, all of them, the live muertitos and the dead muertitos, all with sweatsuits from Old Navy or Ross or the dollar store, different colors, and their initial on it, and also means books and ideas and ancestors and a bunch of other people who aren't my children but could have been, and a globe of the world. Drawers, altares, in my home, two, so you never get too serious about just one, never get too committed to one ideology, one language, one focus, one religion, my bicultural, bi-altares, one to an Aztec, Christian, pregnant virgin, and one to all the dead we've loved before, hung together to life and to death? Or is it to death and to life? Or is it both things at the same time, in both places, always both sides of every border? Thank you.